Oh hey, didn't see you there. What's going on, everybody? Today's video is going to focus on the major spawn areas on Blind Watch in the Crucible game mode known as Control. After going over the individual spawn areas, I plan to share with you my personal recommendations as to how the map should be played in order to best maintain the ideal control points and spawns. Now, as a forewarning, I don't have the best names for these spawn points, so if you can think of better names for these areas, please feel free to leave your ideas in the comments. To start, there are a total of 6 major spawn areas on Blind Watch. The first spawn area is at and near the A spawn. It is the starting spawn point for Alpha Team and a common spawn for whichever team both controls A and is not being overwhelmed in that area. The second spawn area is the A2 spawn. The A2 spawn is close to the A control point but is closer to the silo-type tower that is seen by the B controlled door. Now the third spawn area is actually in front of and within the B controlled door. The reason that I believe that this is a different spawn area is because the players with the A2 spawn never tend to spawn in front of the silo near the B control sliding doors. Furthermore, I'm also convinced that the enemy team has to be comfortably occupying a number of places such as the C spawn, the lanes between A and C, and some part of the A spawn in order for someone to be spawned in this fragile area. Now initially I thought that this spawn area remained solely outside, however I recently experienced this spawn point placing me inside directly upstairs of the B control. Sadly, however, I was unable to get that footage. The fourth area is the C2 spawn. This is in the corner of the map between B and C. It is a common spawn for players when in control of the C control point, especially when the enemy team is making a push for the C control point from the AC lane. Next, the fifth spawn is the direct C spawn. It is the starting point for Bravo team and is commonly accessed when the enemy team is heavily pressing both the B control side and mid-map. Now, the sixth and final spawn, while being a complicated spawn that rarely occurs, is important to note. That would be the stair spawn by the A control point. The spawn point is given priority to the team that has the A control and is being overextended on the B control side of the map. Now let's talk about map recommendations. Knowing these spawns and brief causes for each, I would say that you want to focus on acquiring and maintaining the C spawn areas. With the C control point and the spawns, you are given a spatial and a positional advantage over the B control point and mid-map. This means that you have control of most of the rooms and areas of main traffic, basically allowing you to wait for enemies to just fall into your lap. While the rest of the map is predominantly an uphill battle, you are compensated with an adequate space for maneuvering in the areas that enemies have a height advantage with. Furthermore, since the two traditional mid-map spawns are significantly closer to the enemy's base spawn areas, you have the luxury of pushing and fighting comfortably in 2/3 of the map without having to worry about flipping the spawns. For example, you should be able to push up as far as the upper staircase level of B control, as well as the whole elevated outdoor area that overlooks the open areas in front of A. Again, while A spawn has height advantages when compared to C, you can actually occupy most of those areas without influencing the enemy spawn. The only word of caution that I would give then is that this can only make maintaining your own spawn a bit more difficult. This is because the team that controls A only would have to get a few important kills and sweep through the C spawn areas before pushing your team out of C. However, with proper control and team awareness, controlling the C spawns offer the most rewarding positioning and control on Blind Watch, hands down. There is, however, one area of the map where the team controlling C is at a notable disadvantage, and that is essentially the whole entire lane directly between control points A and C. This lane allows the A control team access directly to the C control at a heightened advantage, as well as 2 effective entrances that can be utilized to reduce the influence C side has on the B control point. My biggest advice in regards to this area of the map is to refrain from getting too aggressive. That is, the 1/3 of the map where you are easily able to jump into the laps of the enemy because A control team does have the advantage for most part of that map. However, once they reach the C control point, you do have the advantage due to the many places you can defend your control point from. In the end, successful execution requires players who are aware of their surroundings and roles in a given instant in order to best respond to enemy pushes on the most preferred control points. Anyways, that about does it for the spawn guide. I hope you enjoyed it and found it beneficial. Please feel free to leave a like and subscribe and give me feedback. Also, I know the names that I have for the spawns weren't the best way to identify them, so feel free to leave what labels you would feel like are best for each spawn area in the comments. I look forward to seeing you all on the battlefield, Guardians. Ignite out.